been doing something really simple for years and years, and it's helped me read probably like 2 to 3 times as many books as I would have otherwise. And I've read more than 1,300 books in the last 10 years, so this definitely works. It works better for nonfiction. You can absolutely read 2 or 3 fiction books at once. It's just a little bit harder, keeping all the stories straight. Myself, I only, typically I'll have one fiction book going at once and a few nonfiction books, and I'll tell you exactly how that works. But I'll start with something you've probably noticed already, especially if you're reading just one book at a time. You've probably noticed that you're not always in the mood to read that particular book, right? And instead of reading that book, you just do something else, which is not reading at all. And you can solve that problem really simply and easily by just reading something else in a different genre, or even in a different format. And I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. And if you're thinking, oh, but I can't read more than one book at a time, like I can never, switch between subjects that fast, I'll just ask you to think back when you were in school, right? Like you didn't have math class for 6 weeks. On Monday morning, they'd, have first period math, and then, like a little bit of a break. The entire time you were in school, you were switching back and forth between different subjects. You can do that same thing now as an adult with your reading. So for me, a while back, I just finished reading Retirement Money Secrets by Steve Selengut, a book that got me excited about investing again. So I'm going back to my notes on Retirement Money Secrets, and then I just started Living Young, Dying Old by John A. Brink. I'm really enjoying that one. It's a book on, health, fitness, longevity. This guy's a competitive bodybuilder well into his 80s. I'm processing my notes from the investment book, and I'm reading Living Young, Dying Old. I'm going to be starting Built to Finish by Steve Pivnik. And then on my Kindle, I've got an excellent book by Scott Adams, his latest one. It's called Reframe Your Brain. I'm really, really liking that one. I'm taking like dozens of great notes. Then I've got an audiobook on the go at the same time. And so I've got like all of these different books, these different inputs, and I'm listening to podcasts. I'm reading different things. Like I'm taking in a lot of information from different sources, and I don't feel like I'm mixing them up because when I'm focusing on them, I'm giving them my complete attention. And what's great about reading in different formats is that you can't always take a physical book with you, or it's not, perfectly, practical to do so, or like you're washing dishes or what have you, so you've got an audiobook. So unless you're Stephen King or me, you're not going to bring a book with you to the baseball game or the grocery store. But no matter where you are or what you're doing, you could always have some form of book with you. And I won't get into a big fight about whether audiobooks are real books. That's not what this video is about. You can fight me in the comments about that if you want. But I'm just saying, like you can switch up the formats and you can always read something. Like if it's not practical for you to take a physical book in with you, like someplace that you're going, you have like I've got 5 different book apps on my phone. I can go to any one of those apps, and I can be reading a book instantly, and so I never have to waste time ever. And a little bonus tip for you: read several books, or at least like more than one in each format. So for myself, I've got usually so like recently I've been kind of like undisciplined, shall we say, about starting new books, right? So I've been starting a whole bunch of new books. I bought 10 Kindle books just last night. But usually I'll have 2 physical books on the go, and then 2 digital books, and then 2 audiobooks, and sometimes just one. For whatever reason, I don't like having a bunch of audiobooks on the go at once. Usually I like to just have one. So that's 5 books right there, and like 4 nonfiction books, 1 fiction. Sometimes if I really want to focus on the fiction book that I'm reading, I'll just put the nonfiction aside and come back to it later. It's like when you take a week off for March break from school, you come back to it and you're back in math class, right? You pick up where you left off, right? So it's not that hard. And by doing that, it just makes it possible to always be reading something. So there'll never be a time when you're not reading. I do have another amazing reading tip for you, though. It's in this video right here. It's 5 minutes to watch that video, but seriously, this is one of my best reading tips that I've used. I use it every single day, and like I said, in the last 10 years, I've read 1,300 books. This is one of my best reading tips. So go watch that right now. Thank you very much for watching this video, and always remember, bookmarks are for quitters.
I don't waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah. Sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable.